Your Oregon Coast adventure just got a whole lot easier and more affordable. North Coast Express tickets are 50% off all month long. Whether you're headed to Astoria's waterfront, strolling the shops in Cannon Beach, or tasting your way through the Tillamook Creamery, you can skip the car and sit back and enjoy panoramic views from reclining seats, stay connected with free Wi-Fi, and relax knowing there's an onboard restroom and wheelchair-accessible boarding. Running Fridays through Sundays with service from Portland, you can book your ticket online at visittheoregoncoast.com/express and use promo code 50OFF to save 50%.
You can make a difference in someone's life, including your own, with a job in home care. These jobs offer flexible schedules, healthcare, retirement options, and free training. They also provide paid time off and opportunities for overtime. Visit OregonHomeCareJobs.com to learn more and apply. That's OregonHomeCareJobs.com.
Portland thrift store owner Owen Gale recently went viral for his ongoing adventures, kicking a rock through the city in hopes of smoothing off the hard edges and turning it into a sphere. His fun and quirky efforts have drawn attention from all over the world as the rock has gotten more round, while the Oregonian recently crowned his shop, Shirts and Pants, the best thrift store in town. Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking with Owen about his rock, Christosphere. Yes, it has a name. And all their escapades so far. It's Monday, August 18th. I'm Julia Fiaioni, in for Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about.
Hey, it's CityCast executive producer John Notarianni here. Before we get into today's conversation, I have a quick favor to ask. We're doing our annual listener survey, and we'd really love it if you'd help us out and take the survey. citycast.fm/survey. It'll only take you 7 minutes. citycast.fm/survey. You'll be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card and CityCast swag. That's citycast.fm/survey. Even if you took it last year, we'd be really grateful if you could fill it out again because we can't use last year's data anymore. All right, thank you so much.
So you've spent the last few months kicking a rock around town you named Christosphere.
Yes, the people named Christosphere.
The people named Christosphere. Yeah. It's gone viral. I heard today that my younger sister all the way out in Montreal has seen many of your videos.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. Why did you start doing this?
Well, I was opening a store in Hillsdale and I'd made a lot of social media content.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to find a way to keep building the social media following and getting people into the doors. And so my brother was like, "Owen, I think you should kick a rock. Because if you kick a rock and if you measure the weight every day and you're saying you're kicking it until it turns into a sphere, one, people aren't going to think it's possible. Especially if you choose a rock that doesn't at all look like it could ever be a sphere."
Where did you find him?
So that's actually the best story. So my grandma was helping me set up my yard, and I kind of have a river of rocks that goes through the yard. And she was trying to find bigger rocks to put in my rock garden in my front yard.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that there was a lot of construction going on at the local gas station. And she saw all of these rocks that would be perfect. So one day she just stopped over there and picked up like 40 of these rocks and then brought them to my yard and spattered them around the garden. So the rock is actually stolen property from some random gas station in Vancouver, Washington.
So how did you know of the 40 rocks, Christosphere was the one that you needed?
I didn't look at every single one, but I looked at the rocks and I knew we would need something that had a lot of mass, but not too much. Like I have to be able to kick it from the start.
Oh, it can't just be this massive boulder.
Yeah, it's got to be something you can kick. But also it needs to be a shape that like could potentially be turned into a sphere. It can't be too flat.
You saw a vision.
I saw a vision. I sent a picture to my brother, 3 different rocks. One was one of the bigger rocks and 2 were like way too small and would have never worked. And he was like, definitely that other one.
Okay.
It's about the size of my hand and it's pretty well, I don't know the word to describe how the weight is distributed, but
It seemed like it was balanced enough to where there was a spherical future.
Yeah.
And the family was behind it.
Exactly. Grandma
Okay.
was certainly behind it, and she matters a lot.
That's always a good sign.
It's a great sign, especially this grandma, because she's kind of got some spiritualness to her that makes you trust her judgment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you said that the people picked Christosphere's name.
Yes.
How did that happen?
So it was like the rock didn't have a name until maybe day 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. People were locked in, and on like maybe day 12, I made a special video and I asked people to suggest names. And most of them were some sort of rock pun. So it was like Dwayne or The Rock.
Yeah.
And then someone was like, what about Christosphere? And this person was actually local. And so I told people to like the comments of the names. And I said I was going to kick him towards the two options, and whichever one he goes towards.
Oh, you had the names on the floor?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah, so I have a special video where I wrote both names on pieces of paper and I put them on the floor. And I kicked him right at Christosphere because that's what I wanted his name to be.
Okay. It was a
And
little swayed.
The people can know it's okay. It may have been a little swayed. It may not have been a
Wow.
little swayed.
Wow. We're getting the inside scoop here, folks.
Yeah. But the other option was Dwayne, which I never wanted it to be Dwayne. But
It wasn't meant to be.
Christosphere was just so much better, so much more creative. But his full name is Christosphere Dwayne Shirts and Pants.
Oh, because Shirts and Pants, for our listeners,
Last
is
name.
the name of your thrift shop in Hillsdale.
Yes. It's
Mhm.
spelled with Z's and like
It's
it's
one
all
word.
one word.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing to spell. But it also kind of looks like an old like German last name or something.
Okay.
And so that's why we gave The Rock that last name.
Christosphere Dwayne Shirts and Pants is the full
Exactly.
name of the rock.
Yeah.
And for our listeners that haven't been following your journey, the end goal here is for Christosphere to ultimately become the most perfect sphere from
Yes.
jagged edges to sphere. How many days have you been kicking it around so far?
It's been 116 days.
116 days. Today is August 8th. How close is it to becoming a sphere, you think?
Well, we have a lot of followers who graph it out. Specifically, there's one who has a
Wow.
very good graph and he always comments. There have been some others who have like made Excel sheets and blah, blah, blah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know his real name, but his Instagram username is Tubby. And Tubby says that on day 179, Christosphere will weigh something like 70 grams, and he's going to be a sphere on that day.
Okay.
How does Tubby know this?
You don't know.
I don't have a clue. But what I will say is that like every day, Christosphere gets closer to being a sphere to the point where people are like, you have to stop.
Oh, wow.
They think that some people, not everyone, but some people think
Tubby's not right.
Tubby's not right, and I'm actively making Christosphere more of an oval or less of a sphere in whatever way.
Okay.
And it's really hard to judge the progress now.
So how will you decide ultimately when the day is the day?
I have a great plan for that.
Okay.
I've made maybe 8 videos like this already. I bring the rock to my cat and I have him analyze it.
Oh.
And he kind of sniffs at it. He usually claws at it. He doesn't like this rock, and it may be because I put it a little too close to him and that pisses him off, but he doesn't like the rock. I say to the followers when they ask this that the cat will decide.
Mm.
Now, obviously, my cat can't really communicate with me. So, like, he could maybe kiss the rock or lick the rock, and maybe then I say, oh, now he thinks it's a sphere. But he doesn't know English. He's a cat. And so it really is my decision. But I think I'm going to bring it to the followers. And when I'm convinced that it could be a sphere, I'll make, some sort of slow motion video where, like, you can really see the shape of the rock
Yeah.
and the curves. And if they really want me to stop, then I'll stop. But I'm going to have to start another one. That's just the reality of it.
So I'm hearing another version of Christosphere is coming down the pipeline here.
That might be very soon, actually.
That's huge news.
I might be kicking 2 rocks at once,
Oh.
like each day,
Okay.
which I don't really have time for, but I think it has to be done.
I mean, you got 2 feet.
You're right. I do have 2 feet.
Okay, I see the possibility
Yeah.
here. I'm also hearing that there are some dedicated super fans of Christosphere.
For sure.
Do you get recognized out in public? What do people say?
All the time. Especially when I'm kicking the rock around Hillsdale, because it's like Hillsdale's this sleepy little suburban Portland neighborhood, right? But it's odd to have a guy walking around and kicking a rock there. It's not like I'm kicking the rock and like in Southeast, it would still be a little odd, but
Sure.
it's like more normal to see a weird guy running around and kicking a rock.
People are just doing
over
that in
there.
the Southeast. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Southeast. No offense to the people in Southeast, but it, like weirder shit goes on over there. So I think I'm kind of known in the community now
In
as like,
Hillsdale.
yeah, the guy that opened up Shirts and Pants and the guy who's going around and kicking a rock. And often I just kick it right around where the store is. So like someone yelled at me from their car. That happens pretty frequently.
Just being like, oh, there he is.
Are you the guy that kicks the rock on Instagram? It helps if I'm actively kicking the rock. People do recognize me when I walk around, but at a much lower frequency.
Okay.
If I'm around kicking a rock in public and they go, are you the guy that kicks the rock? And I say, yeah, but often I'm like actively kicking the rock. So I can't really talk to them. I got to make sure the rock doesn't fall into a sewer drain.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
It is. Yeah.
You are Christosphere's caretaker, so I'm
am,
sure people
yeah.
understand.
He's my firstborn.
Well, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, more from Owen and Christosphere.
If you're a home DIYer like me, you might have a few leftover paint cans gathering dust in your basement. Or maybe your house already came with a bunch of them like mine did. So I'm happy to share that Paint Care makes recycling your leftover paint, stain, and varnish simple and easy with convenient drop-off locations as close as your local hardware store. Paint Care has 3 simple rules for painting smarter. 1, buy the right amount of paint for the job. 2, use up leftover paint. And 3, recycle the rest. If you visit paintcare.org/3simplerules, you'll find tips on how to do all 3. Buying the right amount of paint for your project, exploring DIY ideas for how to use up leftover paint, and also just look up the nearest drop-off site in your neighborhood. Paint Care is all about keeping it simple for Oregonians. Time slows down in Walla Walla, Washington. And that's the point. You can experience a vibrant and relaxing getaway, going at your own pace, doing as much or as little as you want. And if you love to eat delicious food and drink good wine, this is your destination. Walla Walla Valley produces everything from wheat to asparagus to strawberries to, of course, their famous Walla Walla sweet onions. So there's plenty of farm-fresh, fine dining from celebrated chefs to explore. But it's also home to more than 130 wineries offering a variety of expressions and vineyard experiences. And all of this is just a beautiful and scenic 4-hour drive from Portland. Go to wallawalla.org to plan your visit today. That's wallawalla.org. The 12th annual Montavilla Jazz Festival, presented by Accelerator Design Studios, is happening from August 29th through the 31st. Portland's biggest local jazz festival, they're putting on more than 25 concerts across Montavilla and Mount Tabor Park. Also, did you know that Montavilla is actually a contraction of Mount Tabor Villa Edition? Just a random Montavilla fun fact. Anyhow, back to this ad. Discover the scene, the sound, and the Mount Tabor Village vibe at a mix of indoor and outdoor concerts. Some events are free, but you'll want a Jazz Adventure Pass to experience the heart of the festival. Go get your Jazz Adventure Pass today at montavillajazz.org. That's montavillajazz.org.
Have you noticed a real boost in business from this? Like, how many followers have you gained from the first video till now?
So I think we had 5,000 followers before any sort of rock video.
Okay.
And now we have 230,000 followers. Obviously, most of those people don't live here, so they can't come into the store. But we have certainly seen a boost in business. I think the best example of it was a couple of weeks ago when we had Christosphere's 100th birthday. I
Wow.
just told the people like a day before that we were going to have a pizza party of sorts at the store and that I wanted 100 people to kick Christosphere.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Wow.
over 100 people.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
awesome.
yeah. And I wasn't sure. I like planned this the day before. I didn't know if anyone was going to come. But this like really showed, okay, if you let people know they can kick the rock, they're going to come to the store. They're going to buy something probably. They want to be in the video, even though it's just their feet. But I think that was a really good example of like the pull that Christosphere has.
So did you teach them any sort of special technique for rock kicking?
So in this case, I was just kicking it with them inside. But actually, a couple weeks ago, maybe a little longer than that, I kicked the rock with the Portland Thorns.
Oh,
And
no way.
yeah, so there's this little area where like some media hang out and then some fans when they're entering the stadium from their parking lot. And so we were in contact with the Thorns, and I was like, I really want to kick the rock with the Thorns. And so they're like, yeah, we'll figure something out. And players weren't briefed on this. We're just catching them as they go in. And I didn't know this was exactly how it was going to go, but it went great. But the players are like, so like, how do I kick it? And I was like,
You're a soccer player.
well, this is kind of your job. So you do what you want. But I told them to kind of roll it with the bottom of their foot because obviously they don't want to hurt their foot before a soccer game.
Great piece of advice.
Yeah, so I was like, you just roll it with the bottom of your foot like this. And so I would pass it to them and they passed it back to me. And we did that with like 10 of the players. It was really cool. But I found it really funny that like, they're like, so how do I do it? And I'm like, well, I think, you can figure it out. I think it's kind of like a soccer ball, but like a tenth of the size. So
Just teeny tiny.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to hear about some of your favorite places that you've kicked the rock. Where else have you been with Christosphere?
I've gone all around really the state.
Oh, wow.
So one of my favorite places was Crater Lake. I threw Christosphere into Crater Lake.
Were people upset about that?
What happened? How could you? I didn't. Yes, they were very upset. So it was in like May, but there were like 4 feet of snow up at the lake still, which I did not know it was going to be like this. But I got there and I was like, okay, I'm going to find another rock and I'm going to throw him into the lake. But besides the fake goof of me throwing in the lake, the actual kicking there is really cool because Christosphere is like surrounded by snow and Crater Lake is so beautiful. I've kicked him around Portland a lot too. One of the best places, which I want to go back to, was the Steel Bridge because it seems dangerous, but it's all like their fence is up at least 3 feet and there's no way that he could fall through anywhere unless I like launched him into the air.
Yeah.
And so that's a great place to kick because it's totally protected.
I heard that was a recommendation from Peabot.
Yes, that was really cool.
I saw recently you took him out to dinner.
Yes.
How was that?
It was great. It was beautiful. He's a lovely date. I took him to Huber's Cafe, which is the oldest restaurant in Portland.
Did you order him a Spanish coffee? Did you give him the full experience?
I did not. I'm sure
No.
I really should have, but I don't like coffee. That's the only problem.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a delicious beverage.
So you mentioned that there's some level of account for safety when you go around kicking Christosphere. Have there been any close calls where you've almost lost him or
Yeah.
what's
So,
going on with that?
The one I was most worried about was, I think it was day 9, and I was kicking Christosphere in Forest Park on the path up to the Pittock Mansion. Not very far up this path. Like when you start going up that trail, there's a big cliff, not quite cliff, but steep embankment, but ends up down at a stream.
Okay.
And Chris fell and started rolling down. And obviously I can't run after him. I'm going to fall myself. And so I just tried to record the best I could. And so
of
that
him
I could like
just disappearing into
disappear.
Oh my God.
And it was sad. But
your firstborn just gone like that.
gone. And it was actually really easy to find him. Like once I found like a little path to get down there, I was able to grab him.
Okay.
But there were some other instances. It was nighttime. My phone was running out of battery. I was kicking him out in Multnomah Village in front of the Multnomah Arts Center. It had just rained. There's like this line of bushes, rose bushes, that's so dense. They're full of flowers, but now everything is wet and it's like flopping over. And I'm not recording this because my phone's like at 1 or 2%.
Oh man.
And then he goes into the rose bushes. It's wet. he's in rose bushes, which are thorny.
Oh no.
And now I have to go like get a flashlight, put like a rain jacket on,
Oh
put
my
some
God.
gloves on. And it was like 3 hours of digging around because I didn't know exactly where it was because I didn't record it.
Wow.
That was probably the worst instance. And I did drag that on for 2 or 3 days online, but it did only take 2 or 3 hours for me to find them.
You sound like a really great rock dad, I must say. That's some dedication
Thank
there.
you. Thank
So
you. Yeah.
I have to know,
Yeah.
if you could take him anywhere in the world, where do you think would be the most ideal place for Christosphere at this point?
Somewhere in England, I think it's in England, somewhere in Europe, there's this instrument that is like a xylophone, but made with rocks for you to roll a rock down. And like hundreds
Oh.
of people have sent me this video. So if I could go out there and roll Chris down that would be pretty cool.
Okay. And just make some music with him, it sounds like.
Make some music. It sounds beautiful. I long for this to happen one day. And then also there's a museum in Japan that has a whole bunch of round rocks.
Okay.
And so if I could bring him there and show him his friends, that'd be pretty cool.
And show him his future.
His future, yeah.
So, what other kinds of things at the store mirror the spirit of Christosphere? I've heard that you have some pretty quirky promotions that go on pretty often. Tell us about them.
It's a really weird store. So some people walked, like, they didn't know I worked there because I was like out kicking the rock, but I saw some people walk in and out. And like, that was like a fever dream. Like, what's, there are clothes everywhere and blah, blah. There are weird, like they said, there are weird cherubs hanging from the ceiling. And so,
What are they talking about?
yeah, well, first of all, the name is Shirts and Pants, but some people think it's Shits and Pants. So bad start with some people. But when you walk in, we got these size 50 pairs of Levi's and we stuffed them, added a pillow to the front and added a face, and they're hanging a couple feet above where your head would be from the ceiling. And so that's like the most weird thing upon arrival. But you might also smell cookies because today is Free Cookie Friday. So at 3:00, I have to go to the store and I make cookies for 5 hours.
You make the cookies in the store?
I make the dough in a commercial kitchen and then I bake them in the store.
Oh my
So
God.
then you walk in and some people are like, is that bread? It's close. I'm not baking baguettes, but I'm making chocolate chip cookies.
I think that's better.
Way better. And so that's pretty weird. You're not walking into a thrift store expecting to smell cookies. But then we have a bunch of weird promotions. So like one, people can come in and do this anytime. I haven't advertised it in a while, but if you write a poem about our store, we'll put it up on our poem wall and we'll give you 20 to 40% off, depending on how much I like the poem or how much the employee likes the poem, whoever's working.
Okay.
Very subjective.
I heard
but
about this, Owen, and I came prepared with my own haiku written from the perspective of Christosphere.
Wow.
Can I read it to you right now?
There's nothing I would love more than that.
Okay. Sharp edges to curves. Bridges, gardens, zoos, and games. The people will know my name.
Wow.
How do you feel?
It's beautiful. That would be 40% off for sure.
Can I cash it in when I come and visit?
Yeah, you can cash it in.
Is this a sign, seal, deliver kind of arrangement?
Write it out and present it to whoever's working. And it is subjective, but I'm almost certain they'll give you 40% off. And you won't even have to tell them that we had this conversation because that's a very good poem.
Thank you. I worked hard on it. I was really trying to embody the ego of Christosphere. You know, he's got a lot of fans.
He does have a lot of fans.
So I have to know what's coming up next. After Christosphere becomes a sphere, what else do you have planned?
Well, in terms of social media content, one of the things we want to do with the current Christosphere is see how many balloons it takes for him to float.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, so that will be fun. And then don't tell anyone, but we're going to act like he's floating away. But obviously, it won't be him that's floating away. If you're listening to this podcast, you'll know. But most people online will not know, and they're going to think that he's gone forever. Then I'll get him back the next day.
This is really good. I like this plan. I also heard that you're opening a store in St. John's. Is that true?
We are opening a second store, yeah. So
that's awesome.
this is why I need to start another rock, because Christosphere needs to stay in Hillsdale. He's a beloved, well, he has some enemies in Hillsdale, frankly, but most of the people there love him. And so
Okay, wait. Who is an enemy of Christosphere?
there's this lady, and
Oh, no.
I don't know her name, but one time I was kicking Christosphere. This was when he was much larger,
Okay.
and he came rolling down the road, plopped into her yard right next to a couple guys that were working in her yard.
Mm-hmm.
They're laughing. They don't care. He doesn't hurt them. She grabs Christosphere, and I go
No.
up to her. I say, "Oh, hi, sorry." She just looks at me like I'm the devil and holds Christosphere in her hand.
Oh,
And I
no.
was like, "Okay, thank you." And I just grabbed it from her.
She didn't even say anything?
No, she did not say a word to me.
Sometimes that's worse than being called some pretty unsavory things.
Yeah, I would have loved for her to call me some slurs, but she didn't. She just held him up and was rather rudely silent about it. She could have just been like, "Hey, can you be more careful?"
Mm-hmm.
So that's Christosphere's number one enemy.
Okay. But
Yeah.
you do have fans.
Mostly fans.
Christosphere has to stay in Hillsdale.
Yes.
So with the new St. John's opening, you'll have...
a different rock, probably just one other rock to kick, but since Christosphere isn't yet a sphere, and our store opens on August 30th, and I don't think he'll be a sphere by then,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to probably have to kick Christosphere for 20, 30 minutes a day. And then this
Yeah.
other rock, I might have to have one of the employees over in St. John's do it. It's kind of a lot of work to
Wow.
kick
Okay.
2 rocks in a day. Probably going to have to pay $20 an hour to have someone kick one of these rocks.
Again, great rock
yeah.
dad, Owen. You're doing
Thank
so
you.
much for Christosphere and
Yeah.
his soon-to-be siblings.
Thank you. Yeah. He's excited for a sibling. A lot of the fans have asked for a sibling or a lover,
Oh,
but he went on one date and it didn't really work. So I don't think he's ready. I think once he reaches his final form as a sphere, then he might be ready to make it out into the dating world.
mm-hmm.
But for now, he just needs to work on himself, or he needs me to work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Well, Owen, thank you so much for joining us on the show and giving us all the inside scoop about your store, Shirts and Pants, and Christosphere. I really appreciate your time today.
Of course. Thanks so much for having us. It's been really fun.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate, or even leave us a review? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.